What we're discussing today are Year 9 fairy tale schema. So what are the key elements of a fairy tale? What are not in fairy tales? How do fairy tales relate to other genres? And what do those other genres have to say about the world? So let's have a look. The key elements of a fairy tale. Well, obviously there is magic, so that might involve wizards, witches, spells. The setting is frequently a kingdom, so that will involve kings, queens, princes and princesses for characters. And other characters may include talking animals, talking objects, giants, fairies, mythical creatures. The plot itself often involves somebody in peril that needs to be saved, and the characters are quite simplistic, just representing good and evil usually. In fairy tales, the good often wins out at the end, but the plot itself may involve trickery, twists and spells and groups of 3 where something happens 3 times and then on the 3rd time the outcome is slightly different. Now, because fairy tales are aimed at kids, what they don't have is swearing, sex. There is violence, but it's not detailed. And there's not psychological violence because the characters are quite simplistic, 2-dimensional characters or caricatures. So how do fairy tales relate to the genres around them? And that's important. They're closely related to fantasy and myth, and you can see a move away from romance. Thriller would be further away, and you can put these other genres like utopia, dystopia, historical romance, etc. at whatever distance you think that they are in relationship to the fairy tale. Now, what do these genres have to say about the actual world? Well, if we take our favourite 1984, it's obviously got comments on what is a dictatorship, what's an authoritarian society, so it would pull out all of the elements needed in an authoritarian society, such as surveillance, violence, physical violence, psychological violence, impoverished masses, corruption, an elite that holds the hands of power, and then it would show you how these things operate in an ideal form. So what do fairy tales have to say about the world? Well, because they have talking animals such as dragons or wolves, they're an encounter with an unknown, some sort of form of danger that isn't specified, and then how you should deal with that danger. So, Year 9, let's have some fun. We're going to read Little Red Riding Hood. Thank you ever so much.